The celebration police could genuinely be a real thing after this. Hey guys, welcome back to your channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around an article that was buzzing around the world of football last night in terms of the Premier League may start to be looking into goal celebrations of individual players and issuing punishments if they cross a line. The article states that should a player be crossing the line in their goal celebrations, that may lead to a critical or mocking celebration from them. The Premier League and referees and officials may be able to take action if, of course, these new rule proposals are, of course, passed and given the green light for the go-ahead. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about the celebrations. We're going to be talking about the Premier League's involvement in this. But without further ado, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on this controversial topic, I would imagine. So please do get involved. Use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me on this. Would love to know what you have to say on this particular issue. Right, now let's get on with the video, shall we? Let's talk Premier League, and they're looking into Premier League celebrations. First thing I thought when I read this was, I am baffled by this. Surely this is not going to happen. We like Premier League celebrations for their innovation, for how clever they are, for how amusing they are, how exciting they are at times, how funny they are. I don't personally, and I know that obviously every fan's different, but I don't personally take it as any sort of offence, unless obviously a player is genuinely promoting and encouraging violence or homophobia, racism, sexism, whatever it may be. Unless a player is encouraging that in their goal celebrations, which will be absolutely bizarre to think anybody would, I have no problem with celebration. Celebrate how you like. You score a goal, you want to give a bit of banter back to rival fans that may have been giving it to you the entire game. I feel players are entitled to do that. I feel like players can score a goal and mock the opposition, mock the fans, mock rivals, mock the opposition, or even mock the media at times for how they have talked about that particular player in the press, in the build-up to a particular game, or maybe all season, or whatever it may be. I have absolutely no issue with it. I like the showmanship aspect of it. I like the entertainment side of goal celebrations. I think they are needed in football. I think they add a new layer to what we see on the pitch week in, week out, game in, game out. And I, for one, am here for player celebrations, providing, of course, like I mentioned earlier, they don't promote or encourage anything that is obviously to be discouraged, such as racism, sexism, violence, homophobia, whatever the case may be on that score. But it seems the Premier League don't necessarily share my outlook on this, because whilst obviously those things should be banished, put aside, and obviously they should be punished in their own way, they're talking about it like it is criticism and mockery of fans. Essentially, banter. That's what I've boiled it down to. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it, maybe I'm misreading it, but that's basically what I have interpreted it to, as just banter. Give you a prime example. Ndiaye of Everton, a couple of weeks ago now, I believe, scored a penalty against Everton, scored a penalty against Brighton and performed like a flapping seagull in his goal celebration. Mockery, bit of banter, a little bit funny, gets a yellow card for it. Now, bearing in mind, we have seen other players mock rival fans. The likes of Neal Maupay and Jamie Vardy are very big culprits in that kind of arena. They have done it worse. And what was interesting is that Ndiaye gets booked for that one, and then a day later, Jamie Vardy mocks Tottenham fans by pointing at the Premier League badge and claiming 1-0 to Leicester because they beat Tottenham to the title in the season that was incredible for the Foxes. But he received nothing from that. He received nothing from that, even though you could probably argue it's a lot worse than what Ndiaye's was. I still think neither of them should be booked, but at the same time, if you're going to book one, you need to be consistent and follow it up with the other. And that's where my second point in this comes in, because my first point is that celebrations should not be banned. They should not be punished because they're just a bit of fun. It's a bit of banter, whatever the case may be, unless of course they cross a very, 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 very big line. But I also think that this could be another avenue and another way of saying to referees, go and be inconsistent in another aspect of your job. We already know referees are so inconsistent and so sporadic with how they enforce the rules of the game that, to me, this is going to be another aspect that is going to be enforced sporadically and inconsistently. I can see certain players getting booked for mocking fans or for goal mockery celebrations or whatever the case may be, and then some players not. Maybe in the same game, maybe later on in the same day, definitely across the full force of a season. It is going to be crazy, in my opinion, if this actually does materialise into something. And it seems to have stemmed from Myles Lewis-Skelly, because not really much was made of the Ndiaye yellow card that he picked up against Everton Brighton. People just kind of swept that a little bit under the carpet, I felt like. Jamie Vardy's the day after was sort of seen as, oh, well, that's Jamie Vardy. But then on Sunday, the celebration by Gabriel in front of Erling Haaland, and then the celebration by Myles Lewis-Skelly to mimic Erling Haaland's trademark celebration, I absolutely riled up a lot of people, including, of course, the two biggest pundits in the Premier League right now, Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher. It seemed to rile them up, mainly Neville, but it seemed to really rile them up. And I did a video on this, I can't remember now if it was yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday, in which I talked about how it's very strange that Gary Neville advocated for Haaland throwing the ball at the back of Gabriel's head in the game earlier on in the season between them two teams. But then as soon as Gabriel returns the favour by screaming in his face and celebrating in front of him, suddenly that's going a bit too far. Even though these are the kinds of people that wanted this kind of needle, this kind of heat, this kind of intensity for a Premier League rivalry to begin with. So what exactly has changed? Or is it just the fact that we now know that these two in particular, Neville and Carragher, are just very hypocritical and just very much stick their finger in the air, see which way the wind is blowing and decide, you know what? We're going to go against the wind today. Even though last week we were going with the wind, we're just going to go against the wind today. Just for the sake of making conversation, for the sake of creating a debate, for the sake of creating and generating likes and views and whatever else interaction they have on their various platforms. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I find it so weird that they can find certain things disrespectful when they were calling out for something like that to happen not so long ago. I find it so weird that they can advocate for one thing, and then as soon as that person retaliates by doing something less crazy than what Haaland did, they find it disrespectful and they find it bad for the game. I don't understand this in its entirety. I really don't get it. I don't get why they're advocating for it. And I don't really get why the referee would look into this. And it's not just them two that are doing this. You know, I've already mentioned Neal Maupay. I've already mentioned Jamie Vardy. I mentioned the Ndiaye situation a couple of weeks ago. There are other players that do this as well. There are other players that mimic celebrations and they give back to the crowd that have obviously been chanting at them the entire game. It's bizarre that we're getting to this point. It really is. And I mentioned yesterday that we seem to be entering into a much more tamer tamer game. A much more tamer game. I alluded to the fact that if you take away the needle, if you take away the banter, if you take away the intensity of a rivalry, you're losing a part of the game, and a big part of the game at that. And if you take away goal celebrations and you take away mockery and you take away banter, you're losing a big part of the game as well, because that's what they're based on. They're based on rivalry. They're based on history. They're based on the kind of interaction between fan and player, player and fan, player and other players, club and club, that kind of thing. You're losing that interaction. You're losing that banter. And some of the best things are when you see banter. You see banter on a pitch. You see banter online. You see goal celebrations like that are innovative and different and exciting and amusing to watch. You're losing a big part of that. And I already think football may be entering even deeper into a position where they are losing so much of their innovation. They are losing so much of their showmanship. They are losing so much of their entertainment value. And I feel like if this is to be passed, and this is to obviously be a thing that is going to happen, not only are you going to get more inconsistent decisions from referees, because the referees in this league are incompetent and terrible as they are, but you're also going to lose a big part of the game that is amusing to a lot of fans from around the world. You're going to lose a bit of needle in rivalries. You're going to lose a bit of heat and intensity in certain matches. I just think they're looking into this too deeply. I can't believe it's taken an 18 or 17, 18-year-old kid to mock arguably the best Premier League striker on history, not necessarily on form right now, but arguably the best Premier League striker right now. For them to start looking into this, it's bizarre to me if that is the case, when obviously players have been doing this kind of thing for years and it's never seemingly been a massive problem. Then I still think it's weird that players get yellow carded for taking their shirts off. That's strange to me as well, but there you have it. But yeah, it seems the Premier League are looking into individual celebrations of goal scorers, and they could be cracking down on this and maybe issuing punishments for those that cross a line in the celebration of their goals. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this news story? Do you think it will happen? Do you think it will not happen? And what do you think will happen to the game if obviously this does get the green light to be passed through to England's top tier division? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will definitely make for great and interesting reading down below. So please do get involved down there. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for your either brand new or continued support to the channel and myself. It really does mean a lot to me. If you are brand new, welcome along to the journey. Welcome along to the adventure we're on. And if you are continuing your support, thank you all so much for that. It, obviously, like I say, it'll never be taken for granted. Will always be greatly appreciated from you guys. Whether you are new, whether you are old, it doesn't matter. Everybody is welcome here, and everyone's welcome to have their say, of course. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.